Your very first comedian of the evening. If you're ready for it, is that okay?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I need a bit more enthusiasm. I love it. He's got an amazing t-shirt. I can't wait for you to see that. But he's a comedian who's been around for about 5 or 6 years. He'll probably correct me. He's a very funny man. Can you put your hands together, please, and welcome to the stage, Gary O'Sullivan.
For Nicole Stevens. Hello everyone, look, a full house, fantastic, that's great. Look, just a quick truth, I'm quite often someone who will push on a door that's got pull on. Yeah, and I've probably got a few times in front of people. Yeah, I'll often stand back and look and see if the establishment's open, before I realise, and that's quite embarrassing. And that made me think about the way we deal with embarrassment, because it's pretty tough, like as you're young, you're embarrassed about the things you have done, but when you get older, you're embarrassed about things you haven't done. Like the medical fraternity is incredibly worried about the youth because they're not getting sexual health checks. And they say the single biggest reason they're not doing that is because it's too embarrassing to speak to their GP about their sexual activity. Which I get, it's a bit embarrassing, but there's one thing that's fucking way more embarrassing than that. And that's when you get older and you go to your GP and you can categorically, fundamentally assure them that there's no need for a sexual health check. There's been no fucking action for a while. And young people beware, because this doesn't only happen to unmarried people, it happens to married people too, so don't get into that. That's a bit heavy, I've opened up a bit heavy. I should step back, There's, I think about philosophy a bit now and then. There's the most interesting question in philosophy at the moment that faces all of us is, what does it mean to be finite and fragile in an eternal, infinite universe? It's pretty heavy, isn't it? Because the universe started somewhere around 13 billion years ago from like a single point, and that's where the Big Bang happened, and time and space has been expanding from there ever since. So when we consider ourselves and everything else around us, we all started everywhere, because everywhere was this one single point. It's fascinating, isn't it? Like I tell everyone I meet that. It's great. Yeah, so I've been single for quite a while now. Why? I don't know. I'm going to try hard, I try to dress well, I try to be articulate and funny, I look after my personal appearance, but so far, fucking zero. I'm safe with my GP, But every time I go to middle markets, like I'll see some underachieving, shampoo avoiding, dreadlock dude playing ditch, And right beside him is his monosyllabic yoga pant wearing brekkie cone made on bongos, And they are banging out some shit they've just made up. And their crowd, 6 deep women, absolutely crazy, all attracted by some underlying primal attraction, They're captivated by the vibrations and the sensations of listening to these dudes. It appears that they're way more interested in these two, two quite possibly private school educated parental disappointments masquerading as musicians than they are in anyone else. And look, I'm okay with that, If the universe is screaming out a message to me, I'm all ears. So I've recently bought some yoga pants. I'm learning to play ditch, and every brekkie is cones. So I have to be monosyllabic by mid next year. So ladies, look out. It's funny, like money and stupidity, they're quite good mates, aren't they? Quite often, yeah. Like Donald Trump, James Packer, Paris Hilton. It's pretty interesting. Like, and that's reflected in the marketplace. So you can buy stupid things for a lot of money. Like Lamborghini have produced an SUV. Yeah, like over $500,000 of four-wheel drive station wagon. Allegedly something you're supposed to take bush, but you never would you? Like having one of those is like having a gold-plated pair of thongs, Something that you were supposed to wear out with like flagrant disregard, but now you only wear on carpeted surfaces at home, But don't worry, there's plenty of stupid people who don't have money as well too. Like if you hear one of them say things like, I could murder a bourbon, get us a bourbon, would you? Fuck, I'd murder 3 bourbons right now. Then, very interestingly, bourbon is not the only thing that person has considered murdering. And in a cruel twist of irony, the only thing they haven't considered, which they've been murdering their entire speaking life, is in fact the English language. Choosing to drink bourbon is quite simply just confirmation that you'll use your last remaining few brain cells, on a series of appalling decisions, your average fuckwit's choose your own adventure, if you will. You know? Which will painstakingly be told in excruciating detail about a month later in your local magistrate's court. And as you dust off your thin leather tie in front of your borrowed white button-up shirt, you know, your appalling mullet, covering the collar, you know, and your white wraparound summies tucked up on side of your fucking head. While you produce some contrived, predictable drivel of an apology, the magistrate sits in front of you thinking, you know what, I think I could bring back capital punishment for this. Thank you, Jim Beam. Thank you very much. Yeah, so look, parenting's funny. I'm actually a parent, and I took way too long to learn a very important lesson in parenting, and that is don't bother. Because you put in a huge amount of effort, it's surplus to requirements, because they just turn out, you know, like most kids just sort of turn out okay. Like some are okay, and the rest are fucking disasters. You know? But it'll be no difference to the effort you put in. And look, I've got something I'd like to share with you too. This is a letter that an 11-year-old wrote to his mum. So I don't know, can anyone see this? Okay? Yeah. Maybe? So I'm just going to read it out to everyone here. It's pretty good. Dear Mum, I'm sorry you are a fat gorilla with a fucked up brain, heart and body. Yours, who is going to the shops now, bye. And it's pretty interesting, you know, because like kids will do one thing, and that is they will sink the fucking boot in whenever they get a chance, you know. Like you can see here, he started off well, dear Mum, I'm sorry. Yeah, it dragged you in, but no, fucking bang, straight up. He's even corrected fucked, in case you couldn't. And then at the end, I better let Mum know where I'm going, because she'll be worried. I'm off to the shops. Yeah, so a lot of people think, you know, what's going on there? Is this what's this caused by? Too many computer games? Is it external influences, you know, like marketing and social media? So look, could it be diet? It may be, but I think the root cause of all children's bad behaviour is the parents' decision to conceive little fuckers in the first place. So don't do that. Yeah. Third of all marriages in Australia end up in divorce. Not saying yours will, I just think it's important that everyone who enters into the horrible, predictable and possibly doomed state of holy matrimony is aware of that and adjusts their expectations accordingly. Odds on, not the best heckle during the speeches at a wedding. And certainly not the best heckle at your until recently good friend's wedding. So just a community service announcement. Tip from the top there. I've got another sign too. I was in the airport after this wedding, and Sydney Airport, and I saw a sign. I saw a sign on what pretty much I thought was a toilet door. So I'm just going to hold this up for you here. I don't know if everyone can see this. Okay, see this over there. So this was clearly a toilet for assistance animals, and that's great. Like assistance animals are most likely dogs, you know, like guide dogs. But apparently, according to Sydney Airport, if you're a man, it's highly likely you'll have an assistance koala. And if you're a woman, you'll have an assistance terrier. But don't worry, if you're trans or possibly non-binary or whatever, you'll have an assistance kangaroo, which will stand most probably as tall as you are. Yeah. But it's good, you know, because I would really wonder how much assistance an animal that's drunk on eucalyptus and sleeps for 23 hours would be to one particular person. And then it dawned on me, you know.
Were they on the plane?
Thank you very much for ruining my next punchline. I'll just move on. So that's fine. That's great. You're thinking really well. You're thinking, yeah, that's right.
She's blonde.
Again, you said something funny on the comedians. Well done. There we go. So the first thing that popped into my head is 95% of people in an airport, they're getting on a plane, don't they? Imagine having an assistance koala in the seat beside you. Feel like being beside your pissed uncle at Christmas, wouldn't it? But I really want to be there when someone tries to fold a red kangaroo into a fucking Virgin flight. And then watch the flight attendants try and put that extra seatbelt around them. That's going to be fucking hilarious. So there we go. Assistance animals. That's okay, don't worry about it. Look, I'm just going to sort of finish up on one thing here. I think we've got it pretty easy compared to animals out there when you consider, like, sort of, as in Australia, like, consider birds, for example. Like, birds will build a nest, you know, have twigs and grass and feathers. Like, they'll sometimes grow some of the stuff that they build their home out of, you know. And they'll make a complex nest that'll hold eggs and themselves, you know, and it's got a structural thing, and they'll do all that with their beak. It's amazing, like primarily because they don't have hands, but still, it's pretty impressive, you know. And we in comparison, we'll have a day off work because we're a bit tired. And those same birds, like they'll fly long distances, you know, to collect food and water, and quite often not only for themselves but for their family. And then we will order Uber Eats because we can't bother leaving our own house. It's good, isn't it? Like we can't be bothered picking up our pre-cooked food from a restaurant within our own suburb. Pretty good, isn't it? Like fireflies. They live for about a month, you know, and the only way they can communicate is through bioluminescence. They flash their arcs, basically. And they flash their arcs in such patterns that they will attract a mate. Phenomenal, isn't it? And how do we attract a mate? We download an app and swipe left and right. So we're really not making a very big effort, are we? And then you consider like predators, you know, all of the predators out there, you know, they see in black and white. And quite a few of them hunt at night. So they locate, track, and hunt their prey all in the dark. And my son, who sees in colour, in broad daylight, can't find his own arse with two hands. There we go. He's actually even come up to me, you know, sort of twirling one shoe by the laces, with the other one half on his foot, and said, have you seen my shoes, Dad? And I just answered with the only thing that I possibly could as a parent, and I said, no mate, why don't you go back and check your room again? My name's Gary O'Sullivan, thank you very much for having me.
One big last round of applause, please, for Gary O'Sullivan. I just need to correct you, Gary, because the predators are also on the dating apps, just FYI. But it's really refreshing to hear a parent talk so honestly about their kids. I think Gary's got 2 kids. I myself, I've got the perfect number of children.